talking with your children. And the other bit of advice is just to get to know the other parents of the kids who are in your children's social circles. We have a fabulous community here in South Portland, and being able to lean on other parents when you're going through interesting and healthy times as a parent is a really valuable thing.
Hi, I'm super loud. Can everybody hear me? I'm really loud. I've never used a microphone. Okay. My name is Hannah. I'm the teen coordinator for the city of South Portland, Parks and Rec. I work over in Red Bank at the community center. We're an after-school program from 2 to 6. We do 6th grade through senior year. So I invite all your children to come and play basketball. We do art. I'm going to bring in some music. We do teen nights where they can stay a couple extra hours, have some pizza. I also like to help with getting jobs and applying for colleges and things along those lines. And some advice for you is to try to get your kid, when they go into high school, to get involved. Join a sports team, join a club, do something, and explore and get outside their comfort zone. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
Hi, I'm Emily Hickey. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I work here in the school-based health center. So I work for Greater Portland Health. So we have many clinics all around the community, and some of them are embedded in the schools to make easier access for teenagers. And actually, we have one at the middle school, so younger kids also, for primary care. So our clinic here is just like any other primary care clinic. We see well child visits, vaccines, sports physicals, that kind of thing. We can see kids when they're sick. We can see kids for mental health and for dental health. We have psychiatry, dental, social workers, all a part of our team. And any student in the high school can come to see us. They just need an enrollment form completed by a guardian. If they are still living at home. And then that allows us we work with the school nurses and with the school social workers very closely, but we are separate from those offices. If anybody wants an enrollment form, you can pick one up at the school nurse's office, South Portland Middle School, or the high school. And I also see kids at the middle school. I'm one of the providers there. So some of your children may have already seen at one of these schools. As far as parenting advice goes for teenagers, I think that in this room, you all have a lot of expertise of being parents of teens in many ways and different communities and cultures. One thing that I feel like we hear in our culture often is like, watch out for the teenagers. Oh, you have a teenager. It's like a lot of negative about teens, but teenagers are really awesome and curious and creative, and so don't miss these years of really getting to know your teen because they're great, and that's why they're listening.
Hi, I'm Althea. I'm one of the school social workers here at South Portland High School. I just got on this panel 2 minutes ago, so I need a reminder of what I'm talking about. Of what I do here. Okay, so I am one of the generalist social workers. There are 2.5 of us dedicated to general ed social work, which just means that we see anyone in the school. We also have 2.5 or one split person, special education social workers who see students with special education plans. So we are very fortunate in this district to have as many social workers as we do. What we do is run the gamut. You might see us working on discipline and supporting students when they have some kind of conflict. We do restorative work in that regard. We also do more traditional kind of short-term, brief solution-focused therapy with our students. I work on substance use with students, so if they have a substance use violation, part of our process here is that they have to see a social worker, so they would come see me. And we also just try to offer a safe space where students can come and talk about the things that are bothering them and get support for the things that they need. Last piece is basic needs. We can support students in finding access to things like food and hygiene supplies and that kind of thing. So we really work towards the goals that students have them, and make sure that your students know that we as social workers are here for them.
Hi, I'm Julie Dark. I'm a media person at Internet. I'm also a parent at South Portland High School and Middle School. So I'm right there in the thick of it with you guys. I have the absolute pleasure of taking care of kids from birth until through college, and I love teenagers. I think teenagers are fantastic. They have so much to offer, they have so much to say, and I find that a lot of parents are afraid of their kids. They're afraid of talking about serious things. They're afraid of talking about drugs and sex and all the things that go along with being a teenager. I promise you someone is talking to them. If it is not you, it is the internet. It is their friends. It is whatever resource they have. It is they come into the office and come to sit for my shields. But the biggest piece of advice I can give you is to talk to your kids. They will pretend they're not listening. They will pretend they don't care. But I promise you, it matters. They care what you think. They care what your opinion is of things, and it is the most important gift that we can give them.
Hey everybody, my name is Andrew Forstoffel, and I'm a restorative practice specialist with Cumberland County Public Health. So not actually in the building here, but working with schools in Cumberland County to help fortify their restorative cultures. Before saying anything else, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for getting your kids to this point. You're doing an impossible thing, you know, and yet you're doing it. And just well done, congrats. So one thing I'm here to do is invite you actually to a deeper dive into what restorative practices are. April 22nd, we'll be doing a parent group info session on restorative practices and then inviting collaboration to build a restorative circle for parents actually. So more on that on April 22nd, and here's the flyer at the SoPoUnite table. Please get a flyer, check it out. Restorative practices in short are practices, attitudes, and just a framework that centers relationship and invites a deepening of relationship, and uses that relationship to as the classroom for when something like conflict or a crisis takes place. So you've done that deepening work to deepen relationship, and then when a violation or a breach has occurred, we rely on that trust and that respect to process it, to understand it, to go deeper together instead of relying on punishment or exclusion. So definitely has applications for parenting, and like Althea said, restorative practices are being used here in school as an alternative to punishment to invite kids into inquiry of the impact their behaviors are having and where it's coming from. But conflict is only just one application of restorative practices. So community building circles is one way to do with each other, and we're looking to start one for parents here at South Portland to basically create a space for you all to give each other the advice, to share your stories, to have a consistent space to show up to help process this impossible thing that you're all doing somehow, raising these children, and to support each other in that way. So April 22nd, Earth Day, we'd love to see you there.
Hi everyone, my name is Sam Lang. I am based at the City of Portland's Public Health Division, but I work all throughout Cumberland County, so I'm in a lot of the schools in this area, and I work as a tobacco prevention professional. A lot of times when I say that to students, and I've probably met most of your students, I work with the 8th graders a lot, and I also am in South Portland Middle School with the 6th graders right now, so if you're a 6th grader, I'm probably hanging out with them in class right now. But when we say prevention, a lot of times it kind of scares people, it feels very judgmental, and we try to keep our prevention work totally not judgmental. We try to keep it very encouraging, very supportive, and very understanding. And we also do parents' nights. We do these open houses or step-up nights. We come here to the table and provide information and educational materials. So I guess my piece of advice as a person who does not have a child
is to be a revolving door. I think that's something that we say a lot when we do parents' nights. And it's just to never shut down a conversation with your kid and to always let them know that they can come to you at any point in time, even if it's not right now. Thank you. I do have notes because I will have so much to talk about, especially just comparing on people that have already gone before me. I'm Teresa Ames, a parent of two well, teens. My son actually has just a few more days being 19, so he's almost 20. My daughter is graduating this year from South Portland High School, and I'm also an employee here in South Portland School District, pre-K through, used to be fifth grade, now it's just 4 with the change in middle school. So I guess I do want to touch on my start SoPoUnite was when my children were in middle school. I tend to like to be involved in what's going on in the community, and this group was introduced to me through a friend, and I just found it to be something that I needed at just the right time. It was just the right thing. When children are born, you've got the doctor's visits and the books and the mom groups or what, there's just a community everywhere you look, and I found as I got older that's tended to dissipate, and I found myself parenting more and more alone, or people just weren't as willing to talk about it, and I found that SoPoUnite not only brought me together with other parents that were going through some of the same things or had advice from years ago, but also helped me learn more about just how to celebrate as a teenager, just hearing you talk about how I used to be like, oh, alien teenagers, partly because I didn't always know what to do, but SoPoUnite helped educate me on what is normal and also how to just celebrate who they are as a person. So it helped us bond together better and create a more positive communication. Which, no, it doesn't sound like they won't listen to you. They might be more away from you or say, I don't want to hear any more about that. But I will tell you, just last month, I sent an email and said, Mom, I would like to get some counseling help. And I thought, oh my gosh, I remember back when he said, stop talking to me about that. I don't want to talk about any of these things anymore. And my approach was basically, I didn't know all the things, I didn't have all the answers, but if I can help you, please go find someone that will. And he did hear me after all. So, right, that was just kind of a way to be sure that I had been doing some of the right things that I did so again. And I do thank SoPoUnite for teaching me some of those things. Some of the workshops that they had were my favorites, and I tell you, I learned something from all of them. Was about healthy risk taking, how to create opportunities for them to take risks so they're not taking risks that are unsafe. Whether it just might be life-threatening or be harmful. And also about the electronics and communication, just how, it was new to me, and I just found them on their phone all the time. And it helped me see some of the positives of that too. So if you see some workshops come out that may sound like you're not quite sure, go check it out anyway, because you're bound to learn something positive. And then my advice, I'll wrap it right up here. There's so much. I guess just be available. Again, and be vulnerable to learn from them and learn from your community. We don't have all the answers, and there's this plethora of people on this panel to learn from. There's so much more out there that Leanne and SoPoUnite bring together to just help us learn. Knowledge is power, and it also can help calm nerves and just help you navigate it. So anyway, I guess that's where I'm ended. And please come see me after if you'd like, or anytime, because I have so much more to talk to people.
Hi everyone, my name is Amelia, and this is my coworker Lori. We wrote a lot down because our roles are complex. We are the behavioral health liaisons of the South Portland Police Department. I'm going to let her introduce our role, and then I'll explain more how we work with the school system.
to guide, support, assess, and assist individuals with behavioral health crises, and the goal would be to resolve that or prevent a further escalation. So as BHLs, we're specifically trained to enhance a response as a team approach with law enforcement. So again, just to reiterate, we do a lot of risk assessments. We help determine the appropriate level of care, and we have the ability to follow up, advocate, and act as liaisons on specific cases. And we're continually training and developing the nature of this collaboration between law enforcement and behavioral health stakeholders within the community of South Portland and the state of Maine in general. So a couple different things I just want to highlight in the role. The first thing is the co-response. So what we mean by that is either one or both of us will arrive on scene with officers, either because dispatch has recognized that it's a call that would benefit us being present, or when the officers go out to a call, they may recognize this is a really great opportunity to bring in our behavioral health liaison, so they'll request that we show up to that call. And so when we're there, the reason why they're going to be reaching out to us is that we have that extensive knowledge around mental health, substance use, and behavioral health concerns, and we do have that understanding of laws around protective custody and determining what's that most appropriate level of care. We really strive to encourage folks to go to the hospital on a voluntary basis, because I think most of us would agree if we do something by choice, it feels better than being forced. And that also helps foster better relationships with us as liaisons and the law enforcement officers in general with the community. And when they go to the hospital, we will follow over to the facility, and we will give an update to acute psych staff to tell them what we are seeing. We also advocate to be involved in discharge planning at the hospital level, and we'll also advocate for what that aftercare looks like. Now, we don't work 24/7, so we'll also do follow-ups if the officers have gone out to a call. They will reach out to us and say, hey, we were on this call last night. It would be really helpful if you could reach out to that individual, and we'll do that. Now, the other type of call while we're working, I just want to briefly speak about, is a diverted call. So what we mean by this is that when somebody calls into dispatch, if it is determined that there's that behavioral health concern, and it's something that myself or Amelia would be able to kind of handle or mediate, we'll actually go up to the call. And of course, if things go sideways or we need backup, the officers, we can also request that they respond. But we do strive to divert calls when possible when it's around behavioral health, so that the officers can be attentive to those other active calls for service.
Well, she nailed it. I'm going to touch on that. We also have really good relationships with people in the community, whether it's like the hospital, the jail, the crisis centers, the schools. Like, for example, Art of Awareness, South Portland Housing Authority. If you have a child or you guys are involved there and they are like thinking you need more support, they have our information. So we like to connect with people in all systems. It's not just if you had police involvement or we were called to come to your house. So kind of how that segues into us working with the schools. We have a close relationship with both the South Portland High School and the middle school. The two main pathways is us becoming involved with students are either with SRO Gray or the social workers at the school, but even sometimes teachers, so it can be teachers too. Before connecting with the student or the family, we usually have a collaborative phone call or face-to-face with the SRO or the clinician to gather background information and get a better understanding of what's going on. So like an example would be like, if they're not wanting to talk to the social worker at school, or there's something going on outside of school and they want to talk outside of school, like anything kind of goes with the situation and they decide, hey, would Amelia or Lori be a good fit? Do you want to talk to us? Because if you don't, that's cool too. After connecting with the referred student or family, we provide a status update to the clinician or SRO. So I wanted to clarify, like, if we start working with your child or with you as a family, like, we let them know, hey, we're working with them, and unless you tell us to tell them them more information, the relationship is now with us, you know what I mean? So I don't have to go back if there's stuff you're uncomfortable with us sharing. We're not going to do that, but we just want them to know, hey, they do have that extra support now. Another thing, we are embedded in the substance use policy under the response plan. If the student comes up on a third offense and they're required to do 10 hours of community service, they will have to meet with one of us, and it may include like more than one meeting. And I can explain how that looks. Like I've done that the past year and the year before. So I will just establish a relationship with that student, and the school lets the family know, hey, they do have to meet with BHL Smith or Swan, and I can either meet them out in the community, at their homes, or here. And I've actually fostered really good relationships with a lot of these students where when something else has come up, they've circled back to me. So I guess our advice is that don't look at us just as behavioral health liaisons with the police department. Like, we can be supports as community members too, and that's kind of how we phrase it. I think people defer away sometimes because we work with the police department, but it's more collaborative, and we want you to be able to call us anytime, and we're here for you. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. My name is April Perkins, and my role here in South Portland Schools is Director of Multilingual Programs. So I work with all 7 schools, supporting the programs for students who are learning English as an additional language. So I'm very, very privileged to have an office right here in South Portland High School, which is in the student services area, if you notice that, near the main office. And that is really one of the very special things about South Portland High School is we have that space where really all students are welcome to come in and spend their lunchtime or come in and see us if they need any kind of resources or help. And it's a place where many of our multilingual students love to hang out and spend time with each other and with our multilingual office staff. So I really encourage you as parents to encourage your students to come and spend some time with us in the multilingual office, aka student services. And really, the best thing that I think a high school student can do is break out of the box a little bit and get to know some of their peers who might have some kind of difference from them, whether it's linguistic, cultural, racial, religious, or otherwise. Here in South Portland High School, we have such incredible diversity of all kinds, and that's a really wonderful learning opportunity and an opportunity for personal growth for all of our students. So that's my top advice to you. I also wanted to encourage you, if you're in a household that is not multilingual, to promote the study of a world language, because that's another thing that can really change a young person's life. And we have some wonderful world language teachers here at South Portland High School. And if you do have a student who's developed a good level of skill in another language, I wanted to make sure you're aware of something called the Seal of Biliteracy. Show of hands, anyone familiar already with what the Seal of Biliteracy is? One person, Principal Tomlinson. So that is an award that students can earn as they graduate from South Portland High School that shows that they have skills in English and at least one additional language. Students can earn it in an unlimited number of languages, and it can give them college credit. So that's a really great way to give them a head start and a leg up as they're heading into college. They can get credits at any of the University of Maine system campuses or at SMCC. If you have any questions about the Seal of Biliteracy or anything related to our programs for multilingual students, I encourage you to reach out to me anytime. And again, the best advice I can offer is to suggest to your students that they come and see us in the multilingual office, that they get to know students who are in some way different from them. Thank you.
Hi there, Officer Caleb Gray, the School Resource Officer here at the high school. Hopefully all of you have had the opportunity to either work with or meet the SRO at the middle school, Ryan Lang, and kind of familiar with how law enforcement has incorporated themselves with the school department here. My job is not to try to jump out behind lockers and catch kids doing something wrong. I don't have quotas. That's not why I'm here. As my title suggests, School Resource Officer, I'm really just meant to be a resource for the school and the kids. Yes, I deal with safety. Yes, there's times where I have to be involved with certain law enforcement actions, but that's always last resort. We have a really good working relationship and understanding how we can work together. Some of the things I can help do as I learn how incredible the school is with like what resources they offer for kids and how further and further out they reach with what they can do is I kind of help to fill in that gap from resources in the school to resources available out in the community outside of the school. So if there's something that happens outside these walls, I can help make sure that that family, that kid gets support, whether it's social workers, just being kind of mindful of what they may be dealing with at home, or just additional support, again, initiating that kind of introduction with our behavioral health liaisons. Again, just one more way to help support our kids here. If I had to boil it down at the end of the day, what am I here? Just one more trusted adult, safe space, and advocate for the kids. And my one piece of advice, I think it's been said a time or two, but communication, communicate with your kids. And I know when I was growing up, I did not tell my parents about what was going on, what was stressing me out. So if you can't have that communication, communicate with the school, because there's a lot of resources that can help your kids with whatever they're dealing with. And person that I work with a lot, social workers. I'm going to pass the mic now over to Kara. Oh, I have to use the cordless. All right.
I'll manage. Hi everyone, I'm Kara Tierney and I'm one of the social workers here at the high school, and I'm completing my 21st year actually this year and watching my own son graduating from South Portland, and my daughter graduated 2 years ago. So I speak to you both as a parent and as a longtime employee, and really just to know that when I started in 2003, it was very clear that schools were a different place than they are now. In some ways better, and in some ways hard in terms of the challenges. But we didn't have any of this. No resources were really available in the sense of being disconnected to the school. And a lot of what I did in those early days was refer out into the community. And there were more community resources, but they weren't as connected. So I think one of the things to really know as you're sitting here is that this panel really does show you that your children do have a lot of support. Of course, there's always more to be had. And with that, for advice would be, I know as a parent, there have been times when I thought, I really do want to email his guidance counselor or his English teacher because I am recognizing he's not doing that great. You know, just those kind of parent thoughts. And I've hesitated, and when I've done that, it's always felt like the right thing to do, even if my kid, your kid, wouldn't necessarily always agree, but to trust your instinct as a parent around some of those concerns and know that we don't have to reach out to your student directly, your child, like Officer Gray was saying, but if you have any concerns, especially if they have to do with mental health, that's a lot of the work that I help coordinate, and we're really sensitive to responding to kids, to teenagers. We know that that's not always the coolest thing. So we try to be subtle, and we try to just work with what we know. So if there's concerns that come up, please don't hesitate to reach out. I also work with Leanne on the SoPoUnite initiative with both adults and kids. So that's another area that we focus on is the substance use prevention. So if there's ever any concerns around those issues, please just know that you can reach out at any time.
Okay, so I don't know how to turn this off. Here we go.